There was a 24-year-old woman who was raped in Oklahoma, and she went to a doctor to get a morning after pill to make sure that she doesn't get pregnant because of the rape. But the doctor told her that she would not prescribe the emergency contraception because it is against her beliefs. Also, the woman could not get a rape kit because they did not have a nurse on staff to administer the rape kit. So the rape victim literally had to go to other hospitals to find a nurse that could do a rape kit and also find a doctor who would be willing to give her emergency contraception to make sure that she wouldn't get pregnant. So let's focus on how freaking absurd this is. She's not pregnant. She wants to make sure that she prevents the pregnancy so she doesn't have to resort to an abortion. But this doctor is too stupid to not realize that and says, no, I'm not going to give you the emergency contraception because you deserve to suffer more from a rape. Because which country are we living in? Are we living in the United States of America, or are we living somewhere in the Middle East where a woman gets punished after getting raped?
Yeah, for the same reasons, they have similar beliefs. So we shouldn't be too surprised, I don't think. But no, it is ridiculous.
This is what... But let's keep it real. This is what fundamentalists in this country want. This is utopia for conservatives in this country. Oklahoma is utopia for them, where you can be a doctor and deny emergency contraception to a woman who's been raped. Because you are anti-contraception, you are anti-abortion. A woman who's been raped needs to be punished further for something that she didn't even do, for something that she is a victim of.
Yeah, I had felt going into this that my position on what should happen to the doctor might be a little bit controversial. I'm starting to think it might not be, at least with regard to you, but I think she shouldn't be a doctor anymore. Look, you're allowed to have your own religious beliefs, and they're allowed to govern how you act and what medicine you take. Mm-hmm. You know, to some extent, how you treat your family, although we have, limitations on that in the case of Christian Scientists and things of that sort. But in terms of if you're in a position where people will be coming to you expecting certain treatments, and now when they go to the hospital, it's a crapshoot on whether or not they're actually going to get those treatments, I'm sorry, you shouldn't be a doctor. If you weren't there, a different doctor would be, who would be much more likely to be able to administer those treatments. You can't be a doctor at this point. There's lots of other jobs open to you.
In Oklahoma, in the state of Oklahoma, you can be a doctor.
Oh, no, I understand that. No. I'm saying that's wrong.
If I were, I don't know, ruler of the world, I would make sure that if you are a doctor who refuses to give someone emergency contraception, you are not allowed to be a doctor. Okay, if your religious beliefs are going to somehow interfere with the health and safety of patients, you should not be a doctor. Okay? Because look, if you want to have a discussion with me about how you're pro-life, and if a woman is pregnant, you want to make sure, even if she's a rape victim, that she gives birth to that baby, fine. But in this case, she's not even pregnant yet. She's just been raped. You want to prevent the pregnancy. That's the whole point. But you say no because you're against it. And by the way, what kind of hospital doesn't have a nurse on staff to provide a rape kit?
Well, that is a separate problem. Unfortunately, because of budget cuts, they don't. It's not just this hospital, it's not just this case where it wasn't available. They actually have what's called a system of rotating SANE nurses, sexual assault nurse examiners, that is constantly rotating between hospitals because they can't afford to keep one on staff at each hospital at all times. So that's a separate problem. It's also a huge problem.
It's a huge problem. Just to go back to what you were saying, in Oklahoma, doctors are completely protected. This doctor did everything legally because they have something known as the conscience clause in the state of Oklahoma that basically says if you want to deny someone any kind of medical care because of your religious beliefs, you are free to do so.
Yeah. Well, look, here's a potential test of this and the validity and the continuing existence of this sort of law in Oklahoma. Right now, it's being used to shield Christians and Christian religious beliefs. Let's get a couple of hundred devout Muslims to become doctors, or devout Buddhists, or various other religions, and have them begin to decide to give or not give certain treatments based on their religious beliefs. And I think that once the predominantly, Christian people who are judges in the state, who are adjudicating the continued existence of this law, once they see what it looks like when it's not a Christian that's being protected, I think that it might not stand the test of time.
Yes, I heard that Pastafarians don't believe in helping patients who have heart disease.
Yeah.
So
just a high-carb diet. That cures all ills, actually,
yeah, so
for
Pastafarians will say, no, I will not operate on you if you have a heart attack. I will prescribe pasta. And
I don't do stitches, maybe.
Like how ridiculous does that sound, right? As a doctor, it is your responsibility to provide care to someone whose life is in jeopardy, whose health is in jeopardy, whether that's mental health or physical health. Forcing a woman to have or become pregnant as a result of a pregnancy is just one of the most horrible things you can do as a doctor. If you are pro-life, I get what your argument is, but in this case, what is your argument? If you really want to prevent an abortion from happening, let's prevent the pregnancy in the first place.
They
but
don't
I'm trying
see the
to
distinction. That distinction
I know.
is not the same for them.
And honestly, I don't even think this doctor knows how emergency contraception works.
I hope that she does. I think
No.
it's more likely than most Republican politicians talking about emergency contraception. I think she knows more about it than them. She just chooses the distinction that exists for us, a scientific distinction between, conception, implantation, those sorts of things. They don't mean the same thing from people for this particular ideology.
And by the way, I just want to give you guys an update on the 24-year-old victim, who's unidentified, by the way, for good reason. She did manage to find a hospital that would do a rape kit and prescribe her the emergency contraception, so she's fine. But as you can understand, her mother was just beside herself because, your daughter just went through something so terrible, and you encounter a doctor who just doesn't want to help you.
Yeah. Where was the conscience in regard to treating her humanely?
No conscience when it comes to that.